Welcome to Chris Allen's podcast. And here comes the show. And it's the Chris Allen podcast, and today we are interviewing Mortimer Blankenship, and I bet I said that wrong because I'm horrible with names.
That's okay. It's not like you didn't already know. My name is Mortimer Blankenship III, and I am the Mutton Chop Millionaire. How's it going?
So what made you go with mutton chops?
I mean, why wouldn't I? Have you seen how good looking I am?
You're better looking than me, but that's not a high bar.
Well, I tell you, at one point I had to beat the ladies off with a stick.
Wow, those poor poor ladies. Okay, so many sticks, so many beatings. So you wrestle or you manage with NWA and Supreme Wrestling? NWA Supreme Wrestling.
It used to be NWA Supreme, yes.
Yes.
It's now just Supreme Wrestling. The NWA, of course, went away from the territory thing when Bruce Tharpe sold it to Billy Corgan. Billy Corgan now is just doing like a centralized, kind of centralized out of like the Nashville area NWA, which I hope to one day be a part of. But yeah, right now I primarily work for Supreme Wrestling based out of Madison, Indiana, and I'm also with Emerge Wrestling based out of Columbus, Indiana. Oh, and also more recently, Hybrid Championship Wrestling out of Terre Haute, Indiana.
Sounds like a very busy man. So what inspired you to get into wrestling?
Okay, it's the typical wrestling fan. I mean, people don't get into things that you don't get into something like wrestling because you don't enjoy it. I mean, I don't know. I hate when people try to play off, oh, I was never a mark for wrestling. Bull crap. Of course you were. You had to enjoy it to want to do it. I mean, you didn't think, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go get the shit beat out of me tomorrow just because that sounds like fun. No, you watched wrestling before. You know what I'm saying?
I marked out at the last pay-per-view for Extreme Rules. I marked out hard.
Oh yeah, I actually did not watch all of it. I usually catch I don't watch, to be honest, I don't watch much of any of the product anymore. I do watch the NWA because to me, and I've said this time and time again, the NWA it feels more like professional wrestling than sports entertainment to me. And I like professional wrestling way more than sports entertainment, but I'm not going to dog on it. Different strokes for different folks. So if you enjoy sports entertainment more than professional wrestling, then that's your choice, albeit the wrong opinion, but you're allowed to have that opinion. That's how I've always looked at it. But how I got into wrestling was I always liked it. Growing up, thought it was great. I ended up working a summer internship at a factory, and my mom worked at that factory when I was younger. And this was after a few years after my mom had passed away. But I happened to get because my mom had worked there, I got a summer internship when I was in college to go work at this factory. Well, they put me in the location where my mom was the scheduler for. So I knew a lot of the people that worked there from a few years before, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I was talking to one gentleman named Lonnie Kincaid. And Lonnie, I knew that he had been a wrestler for years. Luscious Lonnie Lee out of Canada. He had this Canadian heartthrob gimmick. My mom talked about him being in wrestling, and I had looked him up and seen him. And so we struck up a conversation. I was just like, so you're still doing the wrestling thing? He's like, well, actually, and you probably hear my cat in the background. I do apologize. I have 2 cats and 2 dogs, so they like to talk it up every now and again. But I asked Lonnie, hey, are you still doing the wrestling thing? And to which he responds, actually, I'm getting back into it. I'm doing a show down in Madison. It's called SCW, Supreme Championship Wrestling. And at the time, it was ran by a guy named Matt Douglas. Um, and he says, as a matter of fact, I need a manager. And he said, would you like to come out and manage me? And I'm like, sure. He goes, well, we can't. He goes, you need to come up with a name. And it's no big secret anymore. My shoot name is Matt Robinson. It's kind of boring.
Yeah.
That's a boring. So he's like, oh, you need to come with it. And without missing a beat, I said, Mortimer Sebastian Blankenship the Third Esquire. And he was like, okay, it's a little wordy, but my gosh, that's good. You've thought about this before. I'm like, yeah, I have. So we get to Madison. They said, what's your manager's name? I said, Mortimer Sebastian Blankenship the Third. I dropped the Esquire. And he goes, well, we already got Sebastian Eros wrestling tonight. So drop the Sebastian. You're Mortimer Blankenship the Third. All right, sounds good. And that's how my name stuck. So granted, this was the first ever show I ever done. I had not had any type of training. It was trial by fire. Literally just got thrown out there. They knew that I understood enough about professional wrestling that as a manager, all I had to do was stand there, do what I'm told, hit my spots, do everything that I'm supposed to do, and piss the crowd off. And that's what I did. The first night I went out there, there was a spot where I was supposed to hit Roger Blade with a clipboard. Well, the clipboard I had was plastic. I didn't have it, and so I'm like, okay. And before I was freaking out before the match, and the guy comes over and goes, yeah, just hit me over the head like this. And Roger hits us over the head, and it cracked my clipboard right down the middle. And I was like, oh, well, now it's already broken. It's pre-broken. It's not going to be that bad. So I held that clipboard close to my side so nobody could see that it was already broken. I went out there, and the spot happened, and I just bashed just as hard as I could, hit him over the head with that, and pieces went flying everywhere. Plastic shrapnel just all over the place, some in the crowd, blah, 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 So match is over. I go to the back. Matt Douglas comes up to me, hellfire and brimstone, pissed off. Just, hey, who told you to use that gimmick at the end of the match? I said, I'm just telling what the vets told me to do. And they told me that was what the spot was. He told me, well, I didn't approve of it. You're out of here. You're never going to show your face in Madison, Indiana again. As we could tell how correct he was, that's where most of my wrestling career occurred, was in Madison. So, and he doesn't show his face there because of other reasons. I'm pretty sure if he did show up in Madison, he wouldn't walk away on his own. But that's another story. There's not too many people down there that like him. But yeah, that's how I got into it. It was a friend of my mother's who was a wrestler a coworker of my mom's that was a wrestler that knew that I was an actor in high school. And I thought after that, I thought, I had my one show in professional wrestling. I could say that I've done it before, and I thought that was it. And I was wrong too. So going on 12 years now. So,
I mean, that sounds like a rough way to get started, but amazing at the same time. I just think it's odd to go like, I didn't approve that. Like, yeah, but it sounds like it looked awesome. Be happy. Sometimes things happen. Like, go with it.
There is a video. It's real hard to find, but there is a video of it still. If you YouTube Luscious Lion Lee's Return to Wrestling, there's like 3 or 4 matches that's all in one video, and it's at the end. And that is my first ever show I ever did. They even have this long promo that I cut, and I never cut a promo. It is so bad. Like I can't watch that part of it. I get so like I get goosebumps from cringing so bad that I have to fast forward through it. And and also I was about 100 pounds lighter back then. I'm like, man, I look so much better back then. Come on. Let yourself go.
but with the weight you gain skills. See, so apparently that's it's your magic power. There you go.
Yeah, exactly what it is. Yeah, for sure.
All right, that's an awesome start, and you're still doing it 12 years later, and sounds like you're gonna keep doing it forever, which is awesome.
I I would like to say I'm going to do it forever, but in all reality, I want to say that I have less than 10 years left. Let's be honest. Eventually I want to go on and do some, as of right now, I'm not, I don't do it as full time as I used to do. I do more spot shows. I do like Emerge and HCW are monthly, and then Supreme. I help book shows up in Jackson County, Indiana, like in Seymour and Brownstown, and uh, and I help book those shows, and I perform on those shows. But I don't do anything too crazy. I mean, that's just what I'm doing now because I'm busy. I also I have a podcast now as well.
Yes.
I've been doing that podcast. It's called Developmentally Speaking. It's on YouTube. Shameless plug.
No, shameless plug. All plug anything you want to plug. That's why we're here.
Yeah,
Talk about you.
yeah,
Talk about what you're doing.
yeah. I'm like I said. I'm currently doing a podcast called Developmentally Speaking. It's on YouTube. It's me and Brian Asbury. Every we have it's about 3.5 shows. We have Developmentally Speaking, which is about the developmental territories of professional wrestling. We do either spotlights or actual interviews of people from OVW, HWA, FCW, and any of those developmental territories. And we want people to realize that, and especially being from Southern Indiana, that OVW was amazing and still is. But back in the day, like all these people know who John Cena is. They know Batista. They know Randy Orton, they know Lesnar, right? That's what they call the big four. Well, we focus on not to take we talk about those guys, but we also focus on what we call the original four. I like to say the original five because we look at Dinsmore, Basham, the Damager, and Rob Conway. But I also throw Rico in there as one as well. And I like to have that, let people know what they did before they were on TV.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And because Eugene was a cool character, but Mr. Wrestling Nick Dinsmore was a wrestler.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what that's about. Then I started a secondary show it shows on Wednesdays, and I do believe we're actually our first season just ended. We did Glow Up, which is Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, and we interviewed some of the original Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. Well, I say original. Apparently, there's a little bit of a debate in the world of Glow if the third and fourth season are considered original Glow Girl. Well, we interviewed from all seasons. We actually even got to interview Matt Simber, the creator of Glow.
Wow, that's awesome.
That was super awesome. And if you get a chance to listen to that, there's this moment where he's talking about his wife. He's like, "Oh, that's my wife. She helped me get set up." He goes, "Oh, she's the executive vice president of Paramount Pictures." I'm like, "What?
I'd like to have that
Okay,
interview.
that's crazy. Cool, thank you, awesome." So yeah, we got to interview Matt Simber, and the Glow Up is just they have a devout following. All the Glow Girls do. So we're trying to get that out there, and we've had a really good our views are up there. Our views are they're growing. Our subscribers are growing, but slowly. Like I'm trying to get, I want to get to that 1,000 mark so I can try to get monetized
Yeah.
and make a little cash because this isn't cheap. I mean, it's but and then also we have our third show, which is Connecting Through Wrestling, which right now we have a deal with the NWA. Their PR guy, I can't remember what his name is right now, but we are in contact with him, and we tell him who we like to talk to, and if any of those people are available, he sends them our way, and we interview them. We've interviewed Alex Taylor, Rush Freeman, Magic Jake Dumas, AJ Kazana, Big Strong Mims, who else? Why Trevor Murdoch, the champion. the NWA heavyweight champion. We've interviewed him. We've interviewed Jax Dane, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a few of them right now. But I mean, Mercurio. We've done so, and then we also with Connecting Through Wrestling. It's kind of like just Connect Through Wrestling is kind of our mix bag show where we just throw whatever if it doesn't necessarily fall under Glow, or which Glow is going to expand into just women of wrestling is what we're going to go with that one, or if it doesn't fit with it necessarily within the developmental product, we throw it into Connecting Through Wrestling, which we have we interviewed Henry O. Godwin, and there's a few other interviews we've done. They're just awesome. I can't remember. We've interviewed so many people. I can't remember which one they fall under sometime. And but I mean, we've Kwee Alan Funk, super cool dude. We've interviewed him. We interviewed Sin Bodhi. I mean, there's been so many different interviews we've done. And as a wrestling fan, I can't believe that I've actually met the people I've met, talked to the people I have, and that's, in the world of professional wrestling, it's not a big secret anymore. If you don't make it to one of the big companies or travel the United States, sleeping in your car, you're not, making any money.
Right.
But the real payout for me is getting to meet my heroes. I got to manage Jerry the King Lawler.
That's awesome.
I got to manage Jerry the King Lawler, and I've become really good friends with Boogie Man Jimmy Valiant. I mean, it blows my mind.
And you talk about OVW. I remember you bring up Jerry King Lawler, watching Jerry the King Lawler on OVW in the 80s. Mm-hmm. Not to bring up my age, but I remember watching those.
Well, it wouldn't be OVW. Would it be OSWA, right?
It may have been OVW. I was only like 8, but I could have
swore. OVW started in the 90s.
It may have been the 90s because I was born in 81. So, and I got into wrestling. I mean, my family wrestling was it. Like, if we didn't, I've watched every single WrestleMania, even the ones from before I was confident, because my dad had them all recorded.
Right.
Which brings me to my next question, because this one, as much wrestling. Go ahead.
I forgot. I do have one other smaller show, which I'm sure you probably you know Vito Andretti, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a show with Vito as well. It's called The Donut Hole.
Wow.
With Vito Andretti, and it's Vito telling old OVW stories.
I'm definitely gonna have to listen to all of these, and everybody should. Yeah. So going back through all the wrestling you watched, any match, anytime, anywhere, it doesn't have to be from one of the big ones. What is your favorite match you've ever watched?
My favorite match I've ever watched.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
And it could be from anything, from pay-per-view, TV, whatever match you went to, just whatever match. What match made you mark out and you absolutely love the most?
That's so hard for me. There's a match. Oh my gosh, I believe it's Shawn Michaels versus British Bulldog, like maybe King of the Ring '94.
Wow, that's a deep cut right there.
That is so. I think it is. So good, such a good match. Like British Bulldog, like he's always been. I've always liked British Bulldog, but there's never been stuff that he does. I'm just like, wow, look at him. But Shawn Michaels brought the best out of him in this match. I think that's it. It's been so long since I've watched it last. I'm a little biased, but I mark out for any Rip Rogers match because I'm from Seymour, which is where Rip is from. And so if you're watching old Hustler Rip Rogers stuff, like there's a match of him versus Adam Bomb on Monday Night Raw. That is just absolutely hilarious. Or the first ever Battle Bowl he's in. And he's, of course, the jobber on the show, right?
Yeah.
And did you ever watch? Did you watch WCW? You said you watched.
I watched WCW. I won't lie. I've mainly been a WWF guy, most of
Mm-hmm.
my life. And
Right. See that's Brian, my podcast partner. He's the WWF guy. I was the WCW. Memphis stuff. I like that stuff over the WWF, WWE, whatever you want to call it. But Battle Bowl, I think it was 1992, right? Of course I saw this on a replay. I would have been 4 when it happened, but
yeah, you
I was
youngins.
I'm only 7 years younger than you. Thank you very much. But I Battle Bowl is where they draw names, and then they make random tag teams, and then the random tag teams wrestle, and then the winning teams all go into a big battle royale at the end. And I remember, if I'm saying this correctly, Rip got teamed with I'm just saying that this isn't necessarily one of my favorite matches. You got me talking about matches now, and Rip teams with Cole or Booker T from Harlem Heat,
Oh
and
wow.
as he's going to the ring, he gets beat up by the his opponents. They beat him up, so he's laying on the entryway the whole match, right? And then all of a sudden, the end of the match is Cole goes out, picks him up, and throws him over the top rope into the ring, and he lands on one of the opponents and pins him 1, 2, 3. And so Rip won the match.
That is awesome. If you're gonna
The whole
win,
yeah, the whole match he laid on the entry ramp and then won the match.
that is perfect. That's
Yeah,
one of those great moments.
I love stupid stuff like that. It's funny to me.
So you're not watching much of the modern stuff that's happening right now, because I know you said you prefer professional wrestling over the sports entertainment, and I get it. I 100% agree. I love a good match, but the WWE right now is actually getting back to that.
I've heard that. I heard Triple H taking over, and it has to be good. Like, okay, like I know the NXT, when Triple H was over NXT, it was good. I mean, it was a proper mixture of sports entertainment and professional wrestling. But I, you know, I like seeing big moves as much as the next person.
Oh yeah,
Trust me. But I hate when and that's the one thing that AEW, they just every match is just boom, 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 big move, big move, big move. That it takes it away
yeah,
from it. It doesn't take away from the fact that they're athletes. What it takes away from is the reality of it, and it also takes away from the longevity of their careers.
yeah. Somebody's not gonna lay there for 3 minutes while you climb that 30-foot ladder for you to jump off of. It's just not realistic.
Right. And doing stuff like big moves after big moves after big moves. Yeah, you may have had a hell of a 5-year career, but if you would have took a couple of rest holds, you would have had a hell of a 30-year career.
Right?
It's the difference between having a 5-year job and a 30-year career.
I'm just gonna say you should watch my recommendation to you and maybe talk about it, because it was in my opinion, the perfect mix of sports entertainment, professional wrestling, and storytelling. Maybe the best storytelling I've seen in a match ever. It was at the Extreme Rules. It was the Edge and Finn Balor match.
Really?
It absolutely. I don't want to spoil it for you.
I'll have to check it out because Edge is one of my favorites of all time. I've always loved Edge. I mean, he's really good. Finn Balor, I think Finn Balor, once he went to WWE,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not taking anything away from before that. He's always been an awesome athlete, but he's one of those, when he went to WWE, it actually calmed him down a little bit when it comes to doing crazy move after crazy move after crazy move. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm thinking about this match going through my head with everything I remember about it, and I don't remember any crazy moves. I mean, there's some spots because it's an I Quit match, but nothing ridiculous, and just absolutely, like, at the end of the match, like, I was going crazy, like, oh, it's on now. The person next to me was like, really? I'm like, no, like, leave me alone. I'm having my moment. Go away.
Yeah.
So yeah, I recommend that. Actually, honestly, the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, I talk about it when by far this year the best pay per view, and it really was the first one that Triple H had complete control over. I mean, he is killing it. Um,
Right.
I think the competition from AEW got them scared, and Vince, I think in his old age, had lost sight of what was important in wrestling. Um,
You say in his old age, man, he lost sight of it years ago.
well, it got worse as he got older. I think his eyesight got worse. That's why he liked the big guys. He's like, oh, I can actually see you because you're so huge.
I, there, I don't know. Something about the Vince always had this weird. Within the last few years, he had this kind of look in his eye that seemed to me like things just weren't clicking
No,
in his
no.
brain. In his brain, like I'm not gonna say for sure, but it almost looked like he just was getting some of that getting a little senile.
Well, yeah, well, he's 70 something years old. His eyes clicked
Right.
really good on interns, though, apparently. Just.
Oh, Lord God.
Sorry.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but they really don't have very much medication for Alzheimer's, but they do have medications that come in a little blue pill.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I can't remember where this is going, but it's going. No, I'm sorry.
yeah.
uh, so, who? Well, we're gonna go with the bigger promotions. That way, people know. Do you think was the most overrated and pushed into stardom wrestler ever?
Most overrated wrestler ever?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's a tough one too. See, overrated pushed wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you asked me that question a few years ago, I would have said Roman Reigns.
He's
But
killing it right now, though.
but he's doing so well right now. It took him a while to find it, but it was one of those situations where I was like, it's The Rock's cousin. He's getting, they're putting the jetpack on him and just shooting him to the moon.
Yeah.
You know, let me see. You know who I cannot stand is in AEW, and it's Daniel Garcia.
Really?
I think he's blander than a rice diet. Like, oh my God, I am not impressed by him at all. But I mean, he's in great shape. I mean, he's not a fat ass like me. He can work, but you got to do something to make you stand out, and he does nothing to make himself stand out.
I have a very unpopular opinion when it comes to this question, so I'm going to tell you, and then you can tell me how wrong I am.
Go ahead.
Hulk Hogan.
Okay, a lot of people say that. Hulk Hogan, and even he said in the 30 for 30 with about Ric Flair that Hogan says he wasn't a good wrestler.
He wasn't.
Um,
He was a horrible wrestler.
Right, but here's the thing about professional wrestling. Professional wrestling isn't about how good you perform moves; it's how well you connect with the audience. And he connected with the audience.
He did. He had that charisma. I'll give him the charisma, but at one point,
that's what
I just couldn't go for the leg drop.
How it always worked.
Yeah, like really the leg drop. Come on.
Right. But that is what I think wrestling is missing, is larger than life characters, and that's why I like the Fiend, and that's whatever Bray's going as now. I like larger than life, as long as they don't take it too far. The Fiend, they take a bit too far.
I think they're calming that down a little bit. Did
Yeah.
Did you watch Raw this last week?
I did not. I don't even have cable anymore. I don't.
I watch everything on Hulu.
Yeah, I don't. I just have. I do have Hulu, but I don't have the live Hulu.
Oh, you don't need high. Side note: you don't need live Hulu. You can watch it on replay. That's what I do.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Because I work Monday nights. I can't watch anything on Monday nights.
Yeah, well, Monday nights and Wednesday nights usually when we were recording.
Yeah.
So I miss AEW and Raw, and who watches Rampage or SmackDown? But anyway.
I'm actually gonna have to start watching SmackDown because they're doing Braun Strowman back, and I know he's a big guy, but he's a big guy who can actually move and wrestle. I really like him.
Yeah. Well, I don't talk crap about big guys. Big guys are great. Like big guys are like when they stop doing weight classes, like they try to bring cruiserweight class back, which I wish they would have stuck with it. I really do because putting any other professional sport, combat sport, has weight classes. Now everybody in WWE go for the same heavyweight belt.
Yeah.
You know, and that doesn't make sense.
No.
That shouldn't exist. It should be weight class belts so that you don't have, you know, some tiny guy versus some giant guy. I mean, yeah, Rey Mysterio versus Big Show, great match. Great match. But you don't need it every night.
No.
You need to put people that are the same size together and make a variety. Learn how to make ever since they did this, and you got me ranting now. Ever since they did the monthly pay-per-views, instead of having just the big four, right? The big four, that means you could run 3-month, 6-month, 9-month, year-long angles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now that they do monthly, they run an angle for a month and then kill it.
Oh, well, they're getting better about that now. Everything with that's getting better.
Right, that's which I've heard. But there's so much. I mean, Roman's had the belt for how long? Beautiful. It's like Bruno Sammartino. It's a great thing. People, when he loses that belt, people will flip their lids.
I'll be so happy.
People will flip their lids. It'll be, but also, I don't blame WWE. I don't blame any of that because I blame, and this is, I myself am one, but I'm not the type that automatically sees something and goes, well, this is what I would have done. It's the smarks that have made wrestling so hard to watch. Because in order to make somebody a heel, you have to make them do something that the smarts doesn't think is the right thing they should have done. Does that make sense? So, like, you have John Cena, right? For the longest time, this babyface. And the women and the children loved it. The smart men couldn't stand it. And that's just how it goes. It's always, but so they realized that all the smarts hate the fact that John Cena is still a babyface. So why would they change him heel? Because if you have a babyface John Cena, to 50% of your crowd or whatever the percentage is, because you have your smart percentage and your non-smart percentage. To the smarks, he's a heel as a babyface because they don't think he should be a babyface. And to all the other people, he's a babyface. Yeah. So why change it?
Oh, I actually really love John Cena. I love that they never had him do a heel turn. Like, it's good to have that one guy who's always... I don't like it, especially when sometimes they force a heel turn. Like, it doesn't fit the character.
Rey Mysterio never went heel either, did he?
He did for a smidge in WCW, but it didn't last. It didn't work because he's not a heel character. He couldn't do it. Just like when they did, they kind of forced Becky Lynch into one where she became big time Bex, and the crowd still loved her even though she was supposed to be a heel. It didn't work. So hopefully they're going to change it up when she comes back from the shoulder injury. But if they don't, I'm still going to love her matches. And that's the thing. Like, I don't mind heels. I don't mind babyfaces. I don't care which one you are, as long as it works with the crowd and it's good. And like, I remember watching Cena matches where half the crowd was chanting "Go Cena," the other half was chanting "Cena sucks."
Right, and if you listen to the crowd, the "Go Cena," it sounds like a young crowd. It sounds like kids. And if you hear the "Cena sucks," it's a bunch of men.
Yeah.
It literally is. It's like it's crazy. It's like the 20, the whatever the demographic is that they have. What is it? The 18 to 35 male demographic that they try to hit, that they're trying to please.
Yeah.
is the one they can't. They can't please that demographic, and they just need to give up on pleasing it. They should just start worrying about selling merch and putting asses in seats that that watch the show for what it is. And in that situation, it's kids, that the ones who go out and, oh my god, these are my heroes.
Right. The ones spending $200 on that belt they wear on their shoulder while they go to the show.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Don't worry about the people that are armchair writers. Why are they worrying about them? Everything that they just got to forget about them and just go ahead and, because guess what? They're going to watch no matter what. They can bitch and moan about it as much as they want, but guess what? They're going to be watching next week and the next week just so they can continue bitch and moan about it, because that's what they want to do. They don't want to watch the show for what it is. They want to pick it apart so they feel like they have something to do in this life. That's why e-feds exist. That's why so many people are like, I'm in an e-federation. I had a person invite me one time to this wrestling thing, and I had no idea what it was. They wanted me to cut promos for a wrestling thing that wasn't even real. It's called an e-fed. Have you ever heard of an e-fed?
I have not heard of an e-fed. Enlighten me to this.
Oh my god, blows my mind. There are people that that and this may sound really harsh, but if it is, I mean, in the words of a great person, fuck off, get over it. That'd be me.
Yeah.
That was the great person that said that. If you want to be a professional wrestler or a professional wrestling manager, get off the couch, get off the computer, find a wrestling school that's reputable and get trained. Attempt it and find out if you're cut out for it or not. If you're not, don't be sitting in your mom's basement on your computer just cutting promos back and forth at people without actually putting in work. That's what an e-fed is. They never actually wrestle. They just talk crap back and forth. And then they say, oh, this person won the match. And then they cut more promos. I don't get it.
That sounds really ridiculous.
I got invited to do invited. I was like, where's this wrestling show at? They're like, oh, it's on this webpage. What?
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, sorry. I actually do this. I do this shit. This is something I do. You know what I mean?
I did not know there was make pretend wrestling. I mean, I've been on websites where people, which I've actually enjoyed because it's more creative. Where
like the video game stuff?
No, not the video game stuff. It was a website. It was kind of like fan fiction, but
okay.
there's an alternate version of WWE Raw right now where like Brock Lesnar's the champion and he's going to. Ironically, he's going to be fighting Brock Lesnar, but they write out the match and the moves and it's.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Like,
that's more creative than cutting a promo saying this person won.
Yeah, right. I just feel like these people want to be seen as wrestlers, but they didn't put in the work.
Yeah.
And as a person who I've put in the work, I got my ass beat. I went to train. My first day of training, I took. I took, but I don't bump worth a shit. That's why I'm a professional wrestling manager, because I can't bump very well, so I don't want to get hurt. So my first day of training, when I was still trying to be an actual wrestler, a full-time wrestler instead of just a manager, I bumped 30 times and then took clothesline and I took 18 to 24 chops, and the next day when I woke up to go to work, I couldn't get out of bed.
Ew.
It's, and then, the next week I went back.
Did it all over again.
And did it again, and I don't know. I as I get older, I see things, and I'm trying to get used to it. Like, when I got into wrestling, I was told that, you stay devoted to your training company for 6 years, right? And if you are to go to another wrestling show, you are to get booked by the trainer and either go with the trainer or they booked you to go. Now I see green guys that are under 3 years of being trained that are going out and doing shows wherever they want. And the old schoolness of being the way I was trained, and this was 12 years ago. 12 years ago, it has changed so much to the point where people can just go and do their own stuff. If I would have done that, they would have blackballed me. They would have thrown the black ball at me. I would have been gone back in the day, because that's not what you're supposed to do. Because they have this, because back in the day they worried if you were, you know, if you were being trained and you made so many mistakes on a show, and then you say, "Oh, I was trained by so and so," that looks bad on them.
And that could hurt them getting more people. That makes
Right.
sense.
Right. So there was a back in the day, and I say back in the day, which is only 12 years ago, I was told 6 years, and that's what I did. As you can see from, I stayed in Supreme, and now I see people just going wherever they want to go, and that's from multiple training companies. Blows my mind, but I can't be salty about it anymore, because it is what it is. I mean, I'm basically I've basically become a has been anyway. Maybe it never was even, but
No, no,
that,
never
that
was.
yeah,
Has
that's
been
true.
maybe, but never was, because you were there and
Yeah,
you did it and you broke the clipboard on his face. I mean, come on, that's like legendary stuff from the start. That was your first
yeah,
match.
yeah, yeah, pretty good.
All right, so do you have any upcoming shows where you're going to be managing that you need to plug? Anything you doing here coming up? Anything big?
Yes, this Friday, um, in Hope, Indiana, at I believe it's 5 p.m. or it starts at 6, but people can gather around. I guess it's at any time. It's at a festival they're having in Hope, Indiana. It's a free show. Uh, I will be managing Custom Made, the tag team of Custom Made. That's Eric Draven and Roger Malcolm. They will be taking on the Black Cube Society. Um, that's in Hope, Indiana. Once again, it's a free show. It's an outdoor show, so maybe bring a sweatshirt and a lawn chair.
Definitely bring a
Um,
sweatshirt. Good grief.
yeah, yeah, it should be a good time. You know,
Winter
that's
showed up
our
early
first.
like this year.
Yeah, that's our. But I heard it's supposed to be about 68, 70 degrees on Friday, so it may be okay, um, if it starts early enough. And I'm going to push to be on first.
Like,
So
look, I'm cold. No.
I'm cold. I need to warm up. But yeah, so that's actually us making our return to Emerge. We've been gone for about a year. Last time I was there, I got put through a table, so we'll
Ow.
try not we'll try to not go through a table this time. Um, and then the next day, I have a show in Brownstown, Indiana. That's with Supreme Wrestling. That is a fundraiser for the Special Olympics. It's going to be $12 at the door. Uh, there's also, I believe, $15 front row, uh, and $40 general admission family 4 packs. All available at the door. Its doors open at 6, bell time 7 at Brownstown Central High School. It's going to be a Rumble main event. So um, 30 people enter and one person wins. Of course, we all know what a rumble is.
Oh, are you doing 30 in the ring at the start, or are you going to have
No, it's
injuries
it's gonna be a rumble. So every 2 minutes.
every 2 minutes? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then and also Shark Boy will be at that show. So you can come see Shark Boy from uh, Impact Wrestling, or TNA, whichever you want to call it. And then we have on the 30th. We have a show in Seymour, Indiana, at Racing Mason's Go Kart and Fun Zone. That is a show for the Arby's Foundation, which is Big Brothers Big Sisters, No Kid Hungry, and Folds of Glory, I think it's called. 50% of those proceeds stay local. The other 50, of course, get dispersed out. And that is going to be a good time. I heard that there's going to be it's an All Hallows Eve show, so I heard there's going to be a lumberjack match on that card where all the lumberjacks are actually haunt actors from Fear Fair in Seymour. So they're all going to be dressed up as zombies and stuff. So it'll be pretty cool.
A zombie lumberjack match.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I do believe we're going to do that. That's all I have lined up right now. Hang on, November. It's a Friday. I just got booked for this. Is it Friday, November 11th? Does that seem like a right day?
It sounds good to me. Let me hold on. Okay.
Let me take a look here. I just got booked yesterday, so I'm
I know I'm working Friday, November 11th. Yep, that's a Friday.
Yeah, Friday, November 11th. Hybrid Championship Wrestling in Terre Haute, Indiana. That's a show that I just got booked on. I'll be managing Gaston LaRue on that show.
I mean, it sounds like you're going to be a busy man, and I appreciate you taking time out of that amazingly busy schedule to come on the show. And everybody, check out Developmentally Speaking. Check out Glow Up. Check out Connecting Through Wrestling. Check out with a Donut Hole.
Yeah.
I mean, that name kills me. That's a good name. And thank you for coming on to my small little show. I truly appreciate it. And I mean, come back anytime you want. We can talk more wrestling. I could do this all day.
Already?
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. I'm like you. I can honestly probably talk to you about wrestling all night long, but I'm pretty sure people get sick of my voice after too long.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. If you get a chance to come to one of these shows, it'd be awesome.
I would absolutely love to. I've actually been to a few Supreme matches, but I don't think you were there those days, sadly enough.
It depends what it was.
Yeah, because I am a giant J-Mo fan, so I have to go watch him wrestle over there sometimes.
Yeah, J-Mo. I managed J-Mo for a while.
I'm sorry.
We were in a group called, this was when it was AWA Supreme, American Wrestling All-Stars Supreme. That was a group called AWA Remix.
Nice.
And it was me, the Blue Beetle, Johnny Justice, J-Mo, and it's been so long. I want to say Michael Bevins. I want to say was the other one. And we were basically telling all the old men in Supreme to get out of the way because, that shows you how long ago it was. All the old guys need to get out of the way because these young guys are coming up. That was the group.
And now y'all are the old guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but awesome. Once again, thank you so much for having me on, and I look forward to listening to it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we're going to do this again because we need to talk more wrestling. All right, guys. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Everybody have a wonderful day, and we will talk at you later. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show wherever you're listening to this show. If you're listening to the Chris Allen Show, awesome. If you're listening to the Jason E. Jones Show, even better. We look forward to bringing you more contact. And if you want to help us out with that, you can hit us up at www.patreon.com/worstjokes and help fund the show. If you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us at cman234 at Twitter. Twitter, at CMean234 at Twitter. You can find on Facebook, the Chris Allen Podcast. You can find Jason on Facebook, the Jason E. Jones Podcast. You can also find him on Twitter, too. Just search for the Jason E. Jones Podcast, and you'll find him. We're all there. We're all here for you. If you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to an email at asktheangryninja@gmail.com. You want to be on the show, reach out, hit us up. We'll get you on the show, interview. You want to come tell a joke. We're all here. If you have an outrageous story, I'd love to hear it. We'll put that up too. So just let us know. And if you have anything you want to hear, let us know. Twitter is the best way just to let you know. So everybody have a wonderful, wonderful day. Talk to you later. Bye.